Coach, I'm not sure how early in practice you learned about Draymond Green's suspension, but how are you guys approaching that going forward to Game 5?
I found out right near the end of practice. So we'll meet as a staff after practice and discuss what our starting lineup and rotation will look like.
Third row on the aisle here.
Coach, Davide Chinellato, NBA Italy. How did you break the news to Draymond about his suspension?
Can you guys hear me?
Bob Myers called me after practice had started, and he told me, and so I pulled Draymond aside late in practice and told him, and then we told the team.
Was he upset or?
Oh, he's disappointed.
Tim, right here in the front, in the first row.
Steve, how disappointed are you in this result? Were you expecting this to come out otherwise?
I had no idea what to expect, and it's irrelevant anyway. Whatever any of us feel, it's we accept the ruling and we move on to Game 5.
How about the time? Would you have liked to have heard
back row
the news before practice started, or earlier today, or even last night?
Sure, but it didn't happen. So whatever, again, it's just. They made their decision, and we've got to get ready for Game 5, and that's what we'll do today.
Follow up.
I know you're not going to say who. You probably don't know who you're going to start, but in the past you have tended to stay smaller with this. Would that generally be maybe where you're going? Brandon Rush, a possibility for this start?
Well, one thing to note is that Draymond has to be on the active list for tomorrow. So we can't put him on the inactive list. So we're going to have to take one of our available players and make him inactive. And so that will be the biggest discussion because we use everybody. We've used every single guy during the playoffs. They've all been important. And that's going to be a really difficult decision who is inactive. Then as far as the game itself, we're going to play a lot of people and we'll give a lot of different looks and we'll compete like crazy, and I think we'll give ourselves a great chance to win.
This is back row.
Steve, Raz Goldenwood, CSN Bay Area. Continuing on that thread, I know it's next man up, but what is the trickle-down effect with Draymond out as far as tasks on the court, especially in that small ball unit, if you continue to stay that way?
Well, he brings a lot to the table, defensive versatility, rebounding, ball handling and passing, and so we've got to figure out a way to still be effective at both ends without him. So we do have, as I mentioned, a lot of players who have helped us all year long, big and small and in between. So probably a lot of different people will get a chance tomorrow.
Over here on the right side.
ESPN Brasil, Eduardo Agra. Barbosa didn't play last game. With Draymond out, of course, you're going to rotate taller players on his position. That can be more minutes for Barbosa?
I would guess that he would play. I didn't expect to not play him last game, but it's just the way the game went and the way it unfolded. So with Draymond out, there's definitely a trickle-down effect, and I would expect Barbosa to play.
John here in the second row on the right.
Coach, John Schumann, NBA.com. And maybe last year, the obvious answer would be this affects you more defensively than offensively. With the way Draymond's game has developed over the last year, is it more of a balance and you have to sort of change things a little bit more as much offensively as you do defensively?
I don't think we need to change things offensively. We'll still play our game. We want to move the ball. We want to get up and down, and so that doesn't change. Obviously, we'll miss his production, but other people can fill that void.
Joe on the back right.
Joe Varden, Cleveland.com. Steve, how had the series changed for Draymond when LeBron switched on to him? Either his role or his impact, or what was most important for him?
Well, the first two games they left him wide open on purpose. They were focusing their efforts elsewhere, and obviously Game 2 he got hot, and then without Love out there in Game 3, they changed their their matchups, and so that put LeBron in more screening roles and all that. So I think it's all fairly obvious stuff. You guys watch the games, so when the matchups change, things change for everybody a little bit. And so he just hasn't had as many open perimeter looks more than anything.
Al in the front.
Al Sarasovic, San Francisco Chronicle. I have a general question and a specific. Generally, do you think it was a fair decision today from the NBA? Specifically, it seems like you'll lose the ability, some post defense with Draymond in a smaller lineup. Can you assess James Michael McAdoo's abilities on post defense?
First part of the question, it's irrelevant what any of us think. We just have to accept the decision and move on, so I'm not going to comment on that. And secondly, I thought McAdoo played really well during his 7 or 8 minutes the other night. And I would expect him to play some tomorrow as well. Like I said, you'll probably see everybody on the roster tomorrow. But that's all right. We like playing that way. We believe in our guys, and I think every one of them can contribute.
Second row.
Lisa Su from Tencent. Coach, during the playoffs, you used to mention Draymond to watch out his words and then also his action. Did you feel disappointed at him, especially the last game? What happened to the last game?
That's just something that stays within the team. It's not anything I'm going to comment on. I'm disappointed for him that he can't play in a big game. But the ruling has been made, and we've got to move on.
Next row back. Go ahead.
Steve Bitker, KCBS. Steve, sports throughout history, there have been many stories of teams that have overcome the loss of a critical player in a critical game in the postseason. Just curious from your experience as a player or as a coach, if you can cite one particular example that has stayed with you.
Not as a player or as a coach, but as a Laker fan growing up, Kareem did not play in Game 6 in 1980, and Magic had 42 points, 19 rebounds, and 15 assists.
On the road, I might add.
On the road. I may have gotten those numbers wrong, but if I got them right, I want a gold star.
Pretty close.
All right, thanks.
In the center.
Jeff Su from On Fire. Steve, when you told the teams that Draymond was down, so what's their response?
Again, that's just kind of our internal business. So, we have all supported one another all season long. We have a deep team and guys who care for each other, and we're going to come out and play extremely hard tomorrow, and we're confident we can win.